Hi everyone, I'm ANEKA from Made to Sew and welcome to today's tutorial on how to true darts. I really hope you enjoyed the previous tutorials that I put on for you regarding what darts are and dart manipulation and how to actually manipulate your darts around a pattern. If you have any questions about it, then please do let me know, and I will have a tutorial on how to use dart manipulation to fix fitting issues such as a gaping neckline or a gaping armhole very soon. Now, today's tutorial is about how to true darts. So when you've completed your dart manipulation, or if perhaps you've just made some tweaks to darts, you may have done a full bust adjustment, or you may have changed the position of the darts. You always need to what's called true the darts. By truing the darts, you're going to be making sure that the garment sews together properly and that everything fits together where it should. So collect up the pattern that you're working on and let me share with you tips for truing darts. Whenever you make any changes to a dart, that could be dart manipulation to move the dart to a new location, like I've done here, or it could just be that you've changed the seams around the edges of the patterns, perhaps had to re-add your seam allowances. You need to make sure that you true the dart, because you want to make sure that once the dart is sewn and the garment is being constructed, that everything goes together smoothly. So, how do we go about truing the dart? The first thing you need to do is to have your finished dart legs. And I have got these blue dart legs here coming from the shoulder seam. You also need to have your dart apex or dart point finalised, which again I have, it's the blue mark here. Then you need to decide in which direction you are planning on pressing the dart volume or dart bulk, which is this section, the middle part of the dart, after it has been sewn. Now, that's easy for darts that are horizontal. A side dart or any horizontal dart, I would always press the dart bulk going down with gravity. For vertical darts, there are a number of different schools of thought. Personally, I prefer to press the majority of my vertical darts, be that at the waist, at the hip, or at the front shoulder. I press the volume or the bulk of the dart towards the side seam. Now, this is my personal preference because I believe, especially in the middle or midriff area around the waist, that we hold more bulk or more curve of our body at the centre front. So I don't want to add to that bulk by pressing my darts towards the centre front. Instead, I press them to the side. However, you will find that dressmaking patterns often ask you to press them to the centre front, so it's really up to you. You could always test it in a sample garment and see what looks best on your individual figure. For this method, I'm going to be showing you how to press this front shoulder dart, and we're going to be pressing the volume towards the side seam. However, just so you know, with my back shoulder darts, I often press those towards the centre back instead. I just think it gives a nicer finish. Now you're going to want to have a piece of paper that extends the line of your pattern, either ready to be stuck on if you need it or already added like I have here. Now you can true the darts if you've got your seam allowances on your pattern or if they're not on your pattern. Doesn't matter either way, you'll still be truing the dart accurately. So what we need to do is to fold the dart legs together as if they were sewn. It doesn't matter if you have a centre line in the middle of your dart, you can ignore that. That was positioned in place to decide on my dart apex. So ignore that for this part of the tutorial. The key is to connect the two dart legs. Now, because the volume or the bulk of this dart is going towards the side seam, I'm going to be wanting to pinch the dart leg that's closest to the side seam, bringing it to this dart leg, which will in turn make the bulk or volume of the darts go towards the side of the body. So I'm going to want to sort of weaken or crease this dart leg to make it nice and easy for me to lift it up and bring it to meet the other one. Two ways you can do this. One is using a tracing wheel. This is a serrated tracing wheel, with or without a ruler, depending on how accurate you are. and run that along the dart leg, and that will just weaken it slightly. The other option is to crease along it. It might be easier for me to do it like this. Obviously, I'm with Sharpie again. You will be working with a sharp pencil, so this will be much more accurate for you. And I've creased along that like so. Then I'm going to lift it up, and I'm going to want to make sure that the dart leg connects all the way down to the point, which it does. Once you're happy that you have got the dart legs one on top of each other, you're welcome to tape this in place with a little bit of sellotape. And the dart bulk is going in the correct direction that you planned. You can pick up your serrated tracing wheel again, and we're going to wheel over the edge of the pattern or the stitching line, whichever you're working with. And you might need to press quite hard. If you don't have a serrated tracing wheel, you could grab a pair of scissors and just cut along here, but you do need to make sure that you're accurate. I would recommend taping this closed if you're going to use that method, and you would cut all the way through this amount of extra paper, and that will give you the same results that you will achieve when we open this up now. I'm going to do this in a blue Sharpie so that you can see. So I just need to look out for the dotted lines. And I personally prefer the serrated tracing wheel method rather than cutting this away. I just think it's a little bit more accurate. And I will draw the other line, and you will see that they will sort of meet at the central point. Sometimes you have a greater shape than others, and this will depend on the direction that you fold your dart in. As an example, if I were to fold this dart in the opposite direction, so folding the bulk towards the centre front, I'm going to show you what we will achieve instead. So again, I'm matching up the edge of my pattern at the shoulder, matching my dart legs together, and this time I will wheel over the edge of the pattern again, and I will show you the difference in the shape. I'm going to do this one in red, and you will see how it looks slightly different. So based on the way that you fold your dart, or the direction in which you send your dart bulk, you will get a different shape for the truing of the dart. The key thing is that when you've sewn your dart and you've pressed it in the direction that you planned at this stage of your pattern cutting, you should have, and if I were to cut off, because mine's sending my dart towards the side seam, so I'm going to cut along that blue line, remove that. So when I've sewn this and I've pressed it, I shouldn't have any dart sticking out along this shoulder seam. It should be nice and flush, ready for me to attach it to the back or to whatever other pattern piece I'm positioning onto. The same from the wrong side. You should have a nice line for the edge of your pattern and the dart. So everything is in line and you haven't got a little bit missing here. So what do you do if you find out that your dart legs are a different length? How do you true up the seam in the pattern if the dart legs don't match? Well, you can find out they're a different length simply by folding them and having issues matching up your stitching line or the edge of the pattern, or you could measure them and find out what each of the dart legs measure. So what do you do in those circumstances? Well, you need to, as we were doing, fold your dart leg. And then you can see here that I have a small amount out. I'm probably be out by about 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters perhaps, almost a quarter of an inch, but it is out. Yours may be more or less than this. What we need to do here is to smooth the stitching line or the seam allowance, whichever you are working with. On this pattern, you can see the red line, which was my stitching line, and the edge of the paper, which was my seam allowance. And both of them are out ever so slightly. So what do I need to do? Well, I need to firstly check that I have enough paper attached to the edge of this piece, because at the moment, when I wheel down the edge of my pattern here, I don't have enough paper to actually blend these lines together. So I'm going to grab another bit of paper and stick that on. So I've got an extra bit of paper stuck on now, and I'm going to fold my dart back into position again and make sure that my folded pieces of paper under there are also nicely folded. Okay, so what I need to do here is to true up the seam really, as well as the dart. Now, it doesn't matter on the size of the jolt or the difference that you have between the edge of the paper, and you may be working with your stitching line, you may be working with the edge of the paper here. But what we need to do is to blend it nice and smoothly. So you've got a decision to make here. Do you want to go with the outside paper and actually increase the pattern? Do you want to go with the inside one and decrease the pattern? Or if you have a large amount, I would make sure that you go in the middle. It's up to you. It depends on how you have amended your pattern. Have you made the pattern before? Is it snugger? Is it less fitted? All of those things that you know you will have to make a decision on. If you're unsure, it's probably always best to go for the middle point. So what I would do in this circumstance is to get a curve, because I've got a soft curve to this side seam I'm working on here. So you may need a curve, you may need a ruler. Depends on the seam that you are truing. Now I've decided I'm going to add this little section here. As I said, will depend on what you're making. You know your pattern and what you're making better than I do. And I'm just going to draw that new seam in. So that is my new seam line. It comes from here and it continues all the way down to there. And then what I'm going to do is to take my tracing wheel and wheel over the new seam line over the dart. Again, you can use a ruler here. You can use a curve if you need to make sure that your wheeling is nice and accurate. Then what we will do is just what we did before, is to open it up, and we will see our new dotted lines. And I will draw them in for you in red here. And you will see the truing of this dart in comparison to the other one we're working on. And there you can see the French dart with the dart legs having been corrected and the extra amount added to the side seam. Now, the final thing that I wanted to add is that you might find your dart bulk or volume is quite large. If the amount of dart bulk, volume, intake, whatever you want to call it, is larger than approximately 2 inches or 5 centimetres, then most of the time I will actually add seam allowances to this inside edge and sew it as a cutaway dart, because this is quite a lot of bulk to have in a seam. The other option is to convert this dart into 2 darts. You could send some of it using dart manipulation elsewhere on the pattern, or you could position 2 darts pointing in to the bust area. It's really up to you as the designer. Now I'm going to be doing tutorials on how to add seam allowances to make a cutaway dart and how to create 2 darts from 1 dart. I really hope you enjoyed the tutorial and that you now know what you need to do to make sure that your darts sew together properly after you have manipulated them or moved them or amended them in a pattern. Thanks for watching and see you soon.